I still hear the echo of my boss's voice yelling, "You're fired," and it feels like a gunshot reverberating through the hallway of my life. I was 24, fresh out of college, and I thought I finally had a stable career at a marketing firm I'd dreamed of joining for years. The moment I walked out with my box of personal items, I realized the real disaster had already begun. My best friend, Maya, had been the one who whispered that secret to my supervisor, and then we'd met in freshman dorms, shared midnight pizza, and promised to be each other's go-to for life. When I got the promotion I'd worked for, Maya celebrated with me, eyes shining brighter than the candles on the cake she'd ordered. It never crossed my mind that she'd be the one to betray me. And then the next day, after the shock settled, Maya called. "Can we talk?" she said, her voice trembling. I met her at the coffee shop we'd frequented since sophomore year, my heart pounding like a drum in a war zone. She stared at the table, fingers twisting the sleeve of her sweater. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "They asked me for inside info. I didn't think it would hurt you." Annie stared at her, feeling the world tilt. "Inside info?" I asked, voice barely audible. "You told them about the campaign ideas I'd been working on for months." And then she nodded, eyes wide with guilt. "I thought they needed a push. I didn't want to lose my own job, and they threatened to fire me if I didn't help. I didn't know how far it would go." And then the betrayal cut deeper than the loss of my job. It was a breach of trust that felt like a crack in the foundation of everything I believed. I walked out of the coffee shop with my bag slung over my shoulder, the bitter taste of stale espresso lingering on my tongue. The city's noise seemed louder, harsher, as if the world itself mocked my naivete. And then for weeks I drifted. I stopped answering Maya's messages, avoided the places we used to hang out, and let sleepless nights fester into anxiety. My parents noticed my withdrawn demeanor. "You look like you've lost a piece of yourself," my mother said one evening, her voice gentle. "What happened?" Annie hesitated, then finally said, "Someone I trusted turned on me. I feel like I can't trust anyone now." She placed her hand over mine, warm and steady. "Sometimes the people we love make the hardest choices. It doesn't excuse their hurt, but it gives you a chance to decide how you'll respond." And then that night, I searched my old files, the portfolio I'd built over the past 2 years. I found a project I had shelved, an indie documentary concept about urban artisans, a story I'd never told. The spark I'd felt when I first drafted it flickered back to life. I realized that while Maya had taken my job, she could not take my passion or my ability to create. Annie started small. I reached out to a local coffee shop owner I'd met at a networking event, offering to produce a short promotional video for free. "I'm trying to rebuild," I told him, "and I need to prove I can still deliver." He agreed, and we spent days filming the quiet hands of a ceramic potter, the rhythmic clatter of a metal forge, and the whispered stories of a vintage book collector. I poured my anger, sadness, and hope into the editing room, turning raw footage into a narrative that felt like my own redemption. And then when the final cut was ready, I posted it on a modest YouTube channel I'd never used before. The next morning, I woke to a flood of comments. "This moved me to tears." One viewer wrote, "Your story gave me strength." Another said, "Within a month, the video went viral, garnering over 1 million views. Brands started reaching out, offering collaborations, and I finally felt the tide turning." And then one evening, Maya called again, her voice more tentative than before. "I saw your video," she said, "and I'm proud of you. I'm sorry for everything." Annie listened, the old wound still raw but softened by time. "I forgive you," I finally said, "but I can't unlearn what happened. I can only move forward, and I hope you find a way to heal, too." And then the experience taught me that betrayal can shatter you, but it also offers a chance to rebuild on stronger foundations. I learned that my worth isn't defined by a title or a position, but by the stories I choose to tell and the resilience I summon when the world pushes you down. As I stand now, looking at the sunrise from my balcony, I understand that life's toughest challenges are the ones that force us to discover who we truly are. The lesson? Trust is fragile, but the human spirit, when fed with purpose, can mend even the deepest cracks.